Hi everyone, welcome to the video solutions of CUET 2024. Let's begin with solving of verbal ability section. Rearrange the following phrases in the right sequence to form a meaningful sentence. For 7 hours, which was hardly, so we cannot clearly start with A because there's no subject, no definition. B, because of the absence of any motivation. Now we can start with B. B looks like opening, but again, it's not given to us as an option for opening. Now we have the option for opening as D. So let's read D. D says she worked on the case, and then the duration is defined in A. So she worked on the case for 7 years, but was hardly able to decide who the murderer was because of the absence of motivation. So we start from D, followed by A, B, and C. So D, C, and B, which is option B, is the correct answer to this question. Next question. The candidate assured the interviewers that the dip in her grades during her second semester was a dash, since she had always been a top scorer in the first semester. So if she has been a top scorer, why is she needing to assure them? That means that in a particular semester, there were no good grades. So in one particular semester, because she did not get a good grade, it was a deviation from the standard. Now, deviation from the norm, which is getting good grades always. So deviation is anomaly, that is deviation from the standard. Allay, adage, and abatement are not the right answers here. Next question. Match the words in the list with the definitions in the list too. Theocracy. Now, theo is a root for religion and cracy means to rule. So, a rule of religious leaders or a government of religious leaders. So, A will go with 3. Now, A will go with 3. We have 2 options for that, which is option A and option D. Megalomania. Mega means huge, grand, right? So, and mania is kind of craziness or obsession. So, morbid delusion of one's power, importance of godliness. So, B will go with 4. Apothecary. Now, apothecary is related to prescriptions. It's related to medicine. So, one who keeps drugs for sale puts up prescriptions. So, C will go with A. An antiquarian. Antiquarian is somebody who deals with the antiques of the things or objects of the past. So, D will go with 2. So, D with 2 is available in first option. D with 2 is not available in option D. It can be eliminated. So, our right answer to this question will be option A. Next question. Fill in the blank with the correct option. A small dash between 2 children ended up as a group fight. So again, we can fill a small fight. So a small fight became a group fight. So a small fight. Now the word for fight will be a small altercation. Match won't be the correct answer because a match won't become a group fight. Contest is competition, so again not correct. Race will not get converted into a group fight. So a small altercation. It's a verbal argument. Next question. Replace the underlined word with the most appropriate synonym. For some time now, we have been toying with the idea of transferring all our business from physical to online sales only. So we've been toying with the idea. Toying means that we have been launching the idea. You don't launch idea. You don't show idea. You are not careful with the idea. You are considering the idea. So we have been considering the idea of transferring our business. Next question. So in this question, answer is option C. Next question. Select the word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. So here we have to mark the antonym. At first, the workers were agreeable to the proposal of their manager, but later they changed their mind, of course. So reconcile to the new proposal. So if they reconcile, opposite of reconcile would be they resisted. Earlier they were agreeing, but now they are not okay with the proposal. Estrange means separate. So, but separation of the proposal, you can be separated with the person, with the family, with the city, but not with the proposal. So, resistant would be the correct antonym to go for in this question. Next question. Complete the sentence given in list 1 with the appropriate words given in list 2. She was able to give a dash explanation in the court of her presence near the crime. Now we need an adjective for explanation because explanation is a noun. Collaborated explanation, corroborating explanation, credible explanation, or creditable. Now credible or creditable, we'll hold it for a bit. The Rockland Hospital dash with aims to conduct a free cancer screening camp. So they collaborated. Because there are two hospitals, they worked together. So collaborated, we will take one. Now B with one is available in only one option. So with A, we will go for credible. C, though she had shown only 4% improvement in achieving her target, yet her efforts are. So the improvement is less, but there's contrast. Even if the improvement is less, her efforts are creditable. That means that she is worthy of getting the credit. The doctors gave the prognosis means that they predicted about the disease by corroborating. Corroborating means supporting their diagnosis with several tests. So correct answer to this question will be option C for us. Next question. All right. Next question. Fill in the blank with the correct options. Most of the guests arrived for the concert dash bus. So we are talking about the medium of travel. So they arrived by bus, with bus, from bus, or through bus. So we always use by with the mode of transportation. So the guests arrived by bus. Correct answer to this question would be option A. Next question. Choose the word closest in meaning to the underlined word. Again, we have to mark a synonym here. Why did Hugh make the flippant remark about her choice of clothes? Now, flippant remark means a casual remark. So, correct answer will be casual remark about her clothes. Indifference is where, it doesn't really matter. You're numb about it, you're apathetic. But here, because you're making a remark, that means that you are affected in some way or the other. So, you made a casual remark about it. Next question. Select the word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The thief showed his disbelief when informed that his partner had been arrested. Now, he showed disbelief. Opposite of show is, so display is a synonym, cannot be an answer. Battered is not the right answer. The thief concealed. If he's showing, opposite of showing is hiding. Hiding is concealing. So correct answer is option B for this question. Next question. The president finally had to dash the demands of public for his resignation. So he had to finally, that means that he finally gave in, he finally accepted the demands, right? So he finally acceded to, acceded means that he agreed to the demands. Now condone means to feel sorry about something, which is not the right answer here. So correct answer will be the president finally agreed to or acceded to the demands of public for his resignation. Next question. Rearrange the following parts of a sentence in their correct sequence to form a meaningful sentence. For organizations which provide service to the customers on a face-to-face basis, now there's a comma, so there's a description of it. For organizations which provide service to the customer on a face-to-face basis, the quality of relationship between customers and employees. Now, here is the connect between D and C, between customers and employees with whom they deal. Now, who is this they? The customers. Whom they deal is very important. So, correct sequence will be A, B, D, and C, which is given as option A, and that becomes our answer to this question. Next question. As a concept fundamental to justice, or as a concept fundamental to ethical theory and political philosophy, justice is associated with the notion of equality, equity, and equality, especially with the injunction to treat equals equally. So, as a concept fundamental to ethical theory and political philosophy, justice is, so the correct sequence is A, D, C, and B, which is option D. Next question. Match the idioms in list 1 with the meanings in list 2. Now, blow the gaff. Now, blow the gaff means to divulge the secret. So, I was planning a surprise party, but my sibling blew the gaff. That means that he revealed the secret. At the end of your tether, so if you are at the end of your tether, that means that you are unable to deal with something anymore. Be full of beans is to be full of energy, and want to curl up and die is to feel terribly ashamed and embarrassed. So correct sequence to this question is A will go with 3, B will go with 1, C will go with 4, and D will go with 2. That's the right answer, option A. Next question. Match the blank in list 1 with the prepositions in list 2. The edited version of her article is an indistinguishable dash her first version. Indistinguishable with, to, for, or from. Let's see. I don't feel any affinity dash is prose style. It is too caustic. Caustic means harsh or bitter. Her ideas are not at all dissimilar from. Now it's similar from and dissimilar from, or similar to or dissimilar to. So with similar, we always use to. So with dissimilar also we use to. So it is dissimilar to mine. It would be wrong to mistake his diffidence for his arrogance or coldness. So diffidence always takes for. So D will go with 3. So I have two options of D going with 3. A will go indistinguishable from. Can you distinguish it from? So distinguish and indistinguish both take from. I don't feel any affinity with his prose style. So B will go with 1, right? So B will go with 1. That is an option A. And hence option A is our right answer to this question. Next question. Rearrange the parts in the correct sequence to form a meaningful sentence. All right. Rearrange the parts in their correct sequence to form a meaningful sentence. The students with tools for critical thinking. Cooperative learning is an that enhances creativity. So of course, we cannot start with that enhances the creativity. So option D is out because option C is saying that C will become the opening. A, students with tool of critical thinking. Now we can have A and B both as starting. Can I close with D? Eclectic and unique teaching method. Yes, A looks like closing. D also looks like closing. That enhances creativity and provides. Now I cannot close with C also. So even option C is out. Now let's see. So cooperative learning is an eclectic and unique teaching method, B and D, that enhances in creativity and provides students. So provide students. So C and A becomes the pair, B and D becomes the pair. So BD and CA becomes the right sequence, which is option B. Cooperative learning is an eclectic and unique teaching method that enhances creativity and provides students with tools for critical thinking. Correct answer to this question is option B. Next question. Read the given passage and answer the 6 questions that follow. When I was in my late teens and still undecided about which language I should write in, he told me that the language one is born into, one's mother tongue, can be the only possible medium of creative expression. For most of his life, my father, Sripat Rai, had been a Hindi editor and critic. Off and on, he translated writings into English from Hindi. He was fond of saying that a failed writer becomes a critic. The weight of his literary expectation came eventually to rest on me. He seemed happy that I was showing an inclination for writing. She will go far, he told my mother after reading the first story that I sent him from Melbourne. My father's pronouncement on the mother tongue stayed with me when I later started writing fiction in Hindi. Another thing that I barely acknowledged, even to myself, was that I felt something like a shame whenever I thought of writing in English. It seemed wrong for a granddaughter of Premchand even to be thinking so. Our family had a certain linguistic pride. I knew that Premchand was famous, but I had not at that time realized the extent of his popularity. The fact that I was the granddaughter of Premchand followed me everywhere. Everyone had a story to tell about their personal engagement with his fiction, the shopkeeper, the long-time cook in my father's deli house, a tea vendor, etc. The list was long, for there was practically no one who had not read something by him that had moved them. However, it was this ubiquity, that reverence and love that inspired in people, that made of him something too large for me to comprehend in the early years of my life. It led also to the strange feeling that without having read him and just by being related to him, I had somehow inhaled his writing. The reading happened much later. Let's look at the questions. The author grew up with the expectation that she would take up. So, the first paragraph answers this question, that she would take up creative writing. So, correct answer is option C for this question. When her father said she will go far, he meant she will travel widely, she will achieve great heights in life, she will go too far one of these days, she will settle in a far off place. So, of course, he meant metaphorically that she will achieve great heights in writing. That was the expectation of his father when she read first story that she sent to her father from Melbourne. So, B is our answer to this question. Choose a statement which is not true with respect to the passage. The author felt pressurized to write in Hindi because of her father. Now, the first and second paragraph clearly corroborates that for us. She felt obligated to carry out the legacy of Premchand. Now, last paragraph where she says that I've inhaled the style of Premchand, and the reading happened much later. That means that she felt obligated. And in the first paragraph also it says that where she comes from the, Premchand family, so there's kind of pressure that you feel. See, her family was chauvinistic about the English language. This is incorrect. They had pride in their mother tongue, but if I have pride in my mother tongue, doesn't necessarily mean that I hate another language or I feel that it is less superior. So C is something which is not true, and hence option C becomes our answer to this question. Even D is true. She was in an awe of extensive reach of her grandfather's writing. Now, the last paragraph says that the cook in their house, the driver, and people, the tea vendor, all of these, they had read something or the other written by Premchand. So yes, she was definitely in awe of the reach of her grandfather's writing. So the only information which is not true is option C, and therefore it is our answer. Premchand became too large for her to Next question. Premchand became too large for her to understand, mainly because of his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. The fact that she feared him, nothing about this is mentioned. She did not fear him. The kind of love and reverence that he inspired in people, or her constant anxiety of failing him. This is also not true. A and C are true, that he connected with people of all walks of life and the love and reverence that he inspired in people. So A and C both are correct, which makes it as option B as our right answer to this question. Next question. Inhaled his writing refers to imbibing his style subconsciously, being compelled to write like him, being influenced. So in the last paragraph, she says that I had inhaled his. Yes. Next question. Inhaled his writing refers to imbibing his style subconsciously, being compelled to write like him, being influenced by what people said about him, or her father's expectation from her. Now, the last paragraph says that the reading happened much later, but she had inhaled his writing. That means that she had picked up the nuances of his writing style subconsciously, is what it means. So, correct answer is option A for this question. Next question. Choose the correct meaning of the word ubiquity as it appears in the passage. Now, the word ubiquity is used in the context that his writing was, touched and it was ubiquitous. The reverence, the respect was ubiquitous. So, ubiquitous means which is present everywhere. That is omnipresent. Option C will be the right answer to this question. Next question. Read the given passage and answer the 6 questions that follow. Free will is the ability to decide and act free from any influence of past events or environment. It implies complete freedom to make any choice absolutely. We clearly don't have any free will. Our decisions and actions are never divorced from our past. We have a conditioned mind, our memories, past impressions, and experience bias and shape our thoughts and actions in the present. It is our karmic imprint, not just what we are born with, but also what we accumulate while living. We can consider it as the result of our genetic code, upbringing, and environment. It is our backstory. The only way to experience free will is to get rid of all such conditionings, to neutralize our karmic imprint, to be independent of our psychological coding. That's possible only if we can purify our mind by letting go of all our ego, being attachments and fixed beliefs. Then we can reside in the truth of our being. The above is an exacting definition of free will. What we commonly mean by free will is that we have a choice in most situations, like who you choose to marry, what profession you pursue, or how you react to someone's aggression. Sounds reasonable, but here's the catch. Our ability to make that choice too is significantly restricted, dictated by our predispositions. This applies even to our ability to bring about change within ourselves. Despite a strong resolve to be calmer, kinder, less anxious, our ability to manifest that change depends partly on our emotional and mental wiring. That's why some people succeed in such efforts more than the others. If you wish to expand the scope of your agency, explore ways to engage in sustained inner work, deepen your self-awareness, examine and reform your conditioned beliefs. But then I wonder if your inclination to embark on the journey too depends on your current karmic coding. Let's see. The author argues that humans don't have free will because we're conditioned. So our decisions are shaped by past events and environmental influences. B, we are born with predetermined choices, not given in the past. We are not born with predetermined choices. We are always dictated by our mind to make irrational choices, not irrational choices. Human beings are born slave of social constructs and expectations, not the scope of the past. So first is the correct answer, that our decisions are based on our past events and environmental influences. Next question. Karmic imprint refer to the passage implies. Now, karmic imprint is given in the second and third paragraph, which is our genetic code, upbringing, and environment accumulated creates the karmic imprint. Free will can be experienced if we do a lot of inner work. Towards the last, author says that if we do a lot of inner work, we let go of our ego, attachments, and fixed beliefs. So correct answer is option C for this question. Next question. The author proves that the idea of free will is a myth by suggesting that our ability to make a choice is restricted by our predispositions. Last 2 paragraph answers this question. B says we are unable to bring a change in ourselves. Now, author is not saying we cannot bring the change, but he's saying that even the change, or the possibility of change, is also embedded in your karmic imprint. If you have it in you, you'll be able to change. So it's incorrect to say that we are, unable to change. Our choices are solely guided by the current environment. Now, solely is too strong a word. Or our choices are completely independent of past events. This is contradictory to the passage. So, correct answer is that our ability to make a choice is restricted by our predispositions. Correct answer is option A here. What does the author propose as a means to expand the scope of one's agency? Last paragraph, first 2 lines says that we can expand the scope of our agency by sustained inner work and self-awareness. What do you think could be a suitable title for this passage? So we are talking about free will, which definitely has to come in the title. So option A has free will, option C has free will. Definition of free will, is the passage talking only about definition of free will? No. Passage is talking whether humans have free will or not. So do human beings have free will? This becomes the appropriate title. So correct answer is option C for this question. Next passage. On a chilly winter evening, nothing warms you up better than a hot cocoa. Chocolate was first consumed in the liquid form by the Olmec people of northwestern Central America around 1500 BC. It was even enjoyed by Aztec Emperor Montezuma, and the Aztec word for it is Zocotl. pronounced chocotel, evolved into the English word chocolate. But the Aztecs didn't serve their cocoa hot, and since sugar had not yet arrived from Europe back then, the drink was often flavored with pepper and spices. It may not have been quite as intelligent as today's version, but it was more palatable if you believed, as the Aztecs did, that chocolate was a gift from the gods and had healing properties. After the Spanish arrived in America in the 1500s, liquid chocolate made its way across the pond, where wealthy Europeans added sugar and drank it warm. In Chocolate History, Culture and Heritage, author Bertram Gordon says, hot chocolate became the beverage of the aristocracy as sugar was still the luxury. Soon enough, though, hot chocolate caught on with the masses. Chocolate houses, a cross between cafes and casinos, started popping up around 17th century Europe. In these lively places, hot chocolate was poured from gilded pots into elegant cups for a posh experience. One can still find it today at the famed Parisian Tea Room in Gelenas, where it is also in New York, which is also in New York City. But by the end of 18th century, chocolate houses had mostly died off, partly because of the cost of chocolate was much higher than of coffee or tea. Taking a tour of International Cup of Cocoa, Italians serve it like a thick pudding. Colombians serve it with a double of soft cheese, while Mexican punch it up with vanilla, chili powder, and cinnamon. And Filipinos served it with mango chunks. Cocoa was first introduced by, Olmec people. Correct answer is option B for this question. First paragraph answers this question. The Aztec people made their cocoa palatable by. Second paragraph has the answer to this question, which says that they spiked it up with spices. Okay. Next question. Why did hot chocolate become the beverage of the aristocracy in Europe? Now, the third paragraph explains that it became the beverage of aristocracy because sugar was still expensive. Sugar was luxury. So the essential ingredient was out of the reach of commoners. So correct answer is option A for this question. Next. The chocolate houses didn't survive past the 18th century as. Now, the last two paragraphs has the answer to this question, where it says that chocolate was more expensive than tea or coffee. So option C is the right answer. Next question. Choose the correct statement from the following. Italians served hot chocolate flavored with spices. Incorrect. Mexicans serve hot chocolate topped with dollop of ice cream. Incorrect. Colombians serve hot chocolate topped with dollop of cheese. This is correct. Option C becomes the right answer to this question. Last paragraph holds the answer to this question. Choose the correct meaning of the underlined expression in the following sentences. Soon enough, though, hot chocolate caught on with the masses. So now that the sugar became cheaper, the hot chocolate caught on, that means became popular among the commoners. Correct answer is option. So when you catch on something, that means it becomes popular. Next passage. Coffee's genetic makeup is no trivial concern. 10 million tons of the crop were grown and sold in 2022 and 2023. The coffee that we drink comes from two species, coffee canephora, which is also known as Robusta, and coffee Arabica, known as Arabica. In many cases, beans from these two species are blended to make a brew, but the beans of single species are also roasted and sold. Overall, Arabica beans represent around 56% of all coffee sold. Most genetic variations in the living organisms comes from hybridization with other species. However, this is a relatively rare event for coffee Arabica because it has more than 2 copies of each chromosome, a phenomenon called polyploidy. Coffee canephora has 2 copies of each chromosome, but coffee Arabica contains multiple copies. This makes it much more difficult for Arabica to interbreed with other species. As a result, coffee Arabica's main source of single nucleotide variation is mutation, which occurs at a steady rate over time. However, the species is also relatively young, having formed as a hybrid of Robusta and coffee eugenodis, another coffee species that is not widely cultivated within the past 50,000 years. From the single plant, which has basically no variation, you create the whole species, and then the variation is only the novel mutation that have occurred since that event. Despite this, there's a substantial variation in the physical characteristic of Arabica coffee plant, including different flavor profiles in the beans and variations in disease resistance, says Emeritus Geneticist Juan Medrano at the UC Davis Coffee Center at the University of California, Davis. We are always talking about low variability at the DNA level, but there's a variability at the structural level, at the chromosomal level, and at the level of deletions and insertions, Medrano says. Which of the following varieties of coffee is the most sold in the world? First paragraph says that 56% of the entire coffee that is sold comes from Cafe Arabica. So option B becomes our answer. Which of the following species of coffee has more than 2 copies of each chromosome? Second paragraph answers this question. This is Arabica. Next question. Which of the following statement is true about Cafe Arabica? Hybridization is the main source of its genetic variation. No, it rarely happens in there. It's actually mutation which happens, not hybridization. B, it has only 2 copies of each chromosome. No, it has multiple copies. So this is also incorrect. C, it displays a phenomenon called polyploidy, which is correct. So correct answer is option C. This is true about coffee Arabica. Which of the following species of coffee developed only in the last 50,000 years, which is Cafe Eosinoides? Option B becomes the right answer to this question. Which of the following types of variability is not very high for coffee Arabica? So variability at the structural level, variability at the chromosomal level. Now the last paragraph says that variability which is not high is at the DNA level. Last paragraph says that at DNA level it doesn't happen. The rate is not very high. It's high at structural level, chromosome level, but not at the DNA level. Next question. Choose the statement that is factually incorrect from the options given below. It is possible to roast the beans of a single species of coffee. This is correct. First paragraph says that generally the blend is sold of 2 species, but the single species can also be blended, roasted, and sold. B, 2 species of coffee can be blended to make a brew. This is correct. Again, first paragraph says it is correct. C, due to its genetic makeup, novel mutations do not occur in the species Coffee Arabica. No, this is incorrect. Novel mutations do not occur. This is absolutely incorrect. They occur over a period of time is what the passage says. They do not occur. Passage nowhere said that. So option C becomes the right answer to this question. Next question. Rearrange the following phrase in the correct sequence to form a meaningful sentence. Created by human, collective cultural heritage, all languages, communities are. All languages created by human, communities are our collective cultural heritage. So we start with C, followed by A, D, and B, which makes option C as the right answer to this question. Fill in the blank with the correct option to form the meaningful sentence. The principal addressed us in the assembly and dash the rumors of an early summer break. So he will clear out the rumors, he will quash the rumors. So he quashed the rumors. Option B becomes the right answer to this question. Complete the sentence given in list 1 with the appropriate phrasal verb given in list 2. She was very dashed with him for his offensive remarks on women in politics. So she was upset with him, of course. So we need a negative word, upset. So the phrasal verb for upset is she was very cut up with him. B, I have plenty of interesting books to give away to book lovers. Give away means to distribute it for free. Strange that people easily give in to the temptation. That means that they surrender to the temptation and ruin their reputation. Rahul is trying to cut down, that is to reduce smoke. So D will be 2 and A will be 3. D 2 and A 3. We have option D as our right answer to this question. Next passage. Complete the sentence in list 1 and list 2 with the appropriate adverb. I thought that the restaurant would be expensive, but it was reasonably affordable. With affordable, it's a adverb collocation question. So with affordable, we use reasonably. It was a serious accident, but the car was hardly damaged because there's a contrast. Serious accident, but the car was hardly damaged. The meeting was a disaster as it was badly organized. And Meera gift is a gift. She has the ability, Meera has a gift. She has the ability to learn languages quickly. So A will go with 2, which is only given in one option. So option A becomes the right answer to this question. Next question. Choose the appropriate word pair to complete the sentence. I didn't know Rahul was in the hospital. Now it's a third conditional question. In third conditional, we talk about anything which is contrary to present. So my present is the author's present is that she or he didn't know that Rahul was in hospital. Had she known or had he known? So if I had known, I would have visited. So conditional tense says that if your condition is in had, the result will be in would have. So option B. If I had known, I would have visited him. Option B is the right answer. Next question. Identify the option closest in meaning to the underlined word. The movie star's biography is a glossy, sycophantic portrayal. Now, glossy is a positive word in a, I mean, not positive, but kind of word where, it is just to impress the star itself. Sycophantic means when you're trying to please somebody. So you're painting a good picture because you want some favor from that person. So it was a flattering portrayal. Synonym is flattering. Insolent is angry, which is not required here. Choose the correct antonym of the underlined word. The minister unleashed a compliment against the newspaper for its biased editorial. So, again, if he is doing something against the newspaper and we want the opposite of antonym, he unleashed a denunciation. That means criticism against the newspaper for its biased editorial on illiteracy among women in his constituency. Endorsement means support, which is not going to go here as an antonym. And regulation and speculations are not antonym of compliment. Next question. Choose the correct synonym of redoubtable from the options given below. Now, redoubtable means that something which is, cannot be doubted. This is formidable. Formidable is the right answer here. Flimsy means weak. Perplexing means confusing. Voluble means somebody with, who's loud, not required here. Choose the correct antonym of the word sullen. Now, sullen means which is dull, gloomy. Opposite of that is genial. Genial is cheerful and friendly. Timid means fearful, which is not the opposite of dull. Reticent means shy, which is again not the opposite of dull. And morose is a synonym of sullen, not the antonym. We are looking for the antonym, so antonym would be genial. Option D for this question. Rearrange the following parts in the correct sequence to make a meaningful sentence. Our inborn, but our perceptions are constituents or our perceptions. So do we have A can go with B or D? A can go with B or D. A is not followed by B anywhere, so I will go with D. Our inborn, but our perceptions of smell, the main constituents of flavor are the. So we start with C. Our responses to basic taste are inborn, but our perceptions of smell, the main constituents of flavors, are learned. So option C becomes the right answer to this question. And this brings us to the end of your CUET 2024 Verbal Ability Solutions, guys. Thank you so much.